you doing? I've been speaking about ancestral iniquities lately, and so I'm going to kind of continue on that subject matter. Okay, so I was reading in the book of Amos, and in this book I'm seeing the judgments of the Creator, and so he has judgment on the nations. And so, okay, so in verse 2, chapter 1, verse 2 of the book of Amos, it says, "The Adonai roars from Zion and utters his voice from Jerusalem. The pastures of the shepherds mourn and the top of Carmel withers." Okay, that's how the chapter starts. So now it says, "Thus says the Adonai," verse 3, "For 3 transgressions of Damascus and for 4, I will not turn away his punishment." I'm not going to tell you the punishment, I'm going to tell you whatever the nations are being accused of, because I'm talking about ancestral iniquities. And in order for us to understand it, we have to know what we're guilty of so we can repent from it, okay? So that we either don't repeat the same or we don't get the same punishment, okay? So Damascus is being accused of threshing Gilead with implements of iron. Okay, so that sounds like some type of war issue where one nation was harsh on the other nation. So Damascus was harsh on Gilead. And so if you're a part of I won't say tribe, but if you're a part of the people of Damascus and you're aware of it and you guys want to repent for that. He does issue a punishment here, but I know when we repent, we do reduce punishments that we go through. Furthermore, we teach our young people to not do the same things, we won't get into further trouble, okay? In verse 6, it's talking about Gaza, okay? "For 3 transgressions of Gaza, and for 4, I will not turn away his punishment." What did Gaza do? Because they took captive the whole captivity to deliver them up to Edom, okay? So Edom was Esau, Jacob's brother, Esau's people, okay? So Gaza is in the southeast of Jerusalem, or Israel, okay? I'm sorry, I said Jerusalem, of Israel. And so basically it's kind of like your own people to a certain degree. It's kind of like your own people. It really kind of depends on how you see it, but it's kind of like your own people like betraying each other. And so it's not 100% of the way your own people, but to a certain degree, okay? They took captive the whole captivity to deliver them up to Edom. So they're in trouble for that, okay? So if you were amongst the people of Gaza and you're aware of what happened in the past, or if there are issues that are going on that are repeating, you guys may want to repent for that so you don't receive the punishment, okay? So the next area is verse 9. "For 3 transgressions of Tyre, and for 4, I will not turn away its punishment, because they delivered up the whole captivity to Edom and did not remember the covenant of brotherhood." So this is northeast of Israel here in Lebanon. And so basically they have made a covenant of brotherhood, like, we're going to treat you guys as allies. And instead of them doing so, they did betray their brethren. And so because of that, if you're a part of the people of Tyre, you might want to repent so that you guys don't receive the punishment listed in the book of Amos, okay? So in Amos 1:11, it's talking about the transgressions of Edom, okay? And why their punishment won't be turned away. So just because it says the punishment won't be turned away doesn't mean that you guys don't need to learn the lessons and repent, okay? So Edom is being accused of pursuing his brother with the sword. So Edom is Esau's people. And then he's pursuing his brother Jacob with the sword. And it says, "And he cast off all pity, and his anger tore perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever." Okay? So, you know, in the Bible, how sometimes it says, like, before you ask for forgiveness of sins, go ask your brother for forgiveness first, or forgive your brother first, and then go pray. Okay? So, there's sometimes, so for 2 nations, it's kind of like, it's your friend, it's your brother, it's your relative, it's someone close that you're supposed to love and care about and protect. And I recall reading something about delivering, like Adonai was upset because he delivered his people to their enemies, okay? And so I might be reading an extension of that, or the extenuating circumstances behind what happened. So, so if you're a part of Esau's people and you guys or you're aware that your ancestors delivered over Jacob's people into captivity, maybe you guys should repent for that so that you won't receive punishments listed, okay? I'm not saying you definitely won't receive them, but it's worth a try to teach your young people the right way to treat their brethren, and to hopefully remove some imputed iniquities off of your people, okay? So now the next area I'm reading is about Ammon, the people of Ammon, okay? He says he will not turn away his punishment because, this one is interesting. He says because they ripped open the women with child in Gilead, that they may enlarge their territory. So now it depends on how you see this. Did they do something like a surgical procedure to take out the children, or did they rip open the women with child in a different way and not even allow the child to live? I'm not sure, but that draws attention to some issues that I'm not going to mention right now in this video. But so the people of Ammon, let me see if I can trace back here. So Ammon is to the west of Israel, and let's see. So basically, I'm not going to talk about that too much. I'm not going to get too much into medical anything here. I'm just going to tell you what the word says and move it along, okay? So anyway, so thus says the Adonai in chapter 2 of the book of Amos. He's talking about the transgressions of Moab, okay? So he says, because he burned the bones of the king of Edom to lime. So, okay, the Moabite people were fighting against, I guess, the Edomite people. And so I don't know why he is having an issue with what happened there. We'd have to go back and read the story in between Moab and Edom and what went on between the people, okay? But if you're aware that you're of the people of Moab and you guys did some type of sinful thing against the king of Edom, okay, then you guys repent for that, okay? Because there are some, now see, sometimes these are prophetic books, and so sometimes there is something that happened in the past and sometimes there's something that happened in the future. And like I said, it can be dual, okay? It could have been something that happened in the past. It could be something you're aware of that's going on in the present, okay? Either by design or it was by coincidence that history repeated, okay? And I'm hoping that history doesn't repeat when it comes to these really bad issues, okay? So anyway, for Amos chapter 2, verse 4, it says, for 3 transgressions of Judah and for 4, I will not turn away his punishment. That doesn't mean don't repent. You still should repent. What are you accused of? Because they have despised the law of Adonai. So that's what you need to work on. Like I'm showing you your weak spaces so you can work on these spaces, repent, and do better. Okay, so it says, because they have despised the law of the Adonai and have not kept his commands. So you guys hear me talk a lot about that. It says, their lies led them astray, lies after which their fathers walked, okay? So it's like you guys are repentant for not telling the truth. You're repentant for not obeying the commandments. If you're not aware of the commandments, pray and ask the Creator to teach you to walk in his ways, as we're all learning to do, okay? Now, the next area, this is Amos chapter 2 from verse 6 on to verse 16. So for some reason, Israel itself, so I spoke about Judah, and Judah is just probably disobedient because Judah is kind of strong-minded and stubborn and maybe want to walk in their own ways. And we hear them getting fussed at and rebuked often. But Judah, Israel, you guys have like a long list of issues that the Creator wants you to address maybe and repent for. Okay? So what it's saying is, for 3 transgressions of Israel and for 4, I will not turn away his punishment. Because they sell the righteous for silver. This is kind of not right. So it sounds along the lines of taking captive the whole captivity, or delivering up the whole captivity to, so Gaza took captive the whole captivity, but Tyre actually delivered up the captivity to Edom, okay? So it's a little bit of difference. And Tyre was supposed to be an ally, so they should not have delivered up the captivity to Edom. They should have probably let them free, okay? But here, Israel, you're accused of selling the righteous for silver. That's bad because you're not supposed to sell souls, okay? Okay, and the poor for a pair of sandals. This sounds really mean, like they're objectifying people and just exploiting them as if they're objects, okay? Now, verse 7, they pant after the dust of the earth, which is on the head of the poor. So this is deep, because it seems like it's like lusting after the dust of the earth. So technically humans are the dust of the earth. So somebody's lusting after people, but the people they're lusting after is on the head of the poor. So they're lusting after the poor, and it says, and to pervert the ways of the humble. Okay, so it seems like I said, like Israel is not looking at the others around them as valuable souls. They're looking at them as, what can I get for you? You know, what can you do for me? That's not really a good way of looking at life or looking at people or treating people. Okay. Now listen, it says, and pervert the way of the humble. So the humble might have been walking in the precepts of the Creator and following the commandments, but it says to pervert the way of the humble. So if you know the right way, Israel might have told you to go the wrong way. Okay. Now it says, a man and his father go into the same girl. It says to defile my holy name. Okay. So if you read in the Old Testament a little bit further in the Exodus, probably not Exodus, but Deuteronomy and Numbers and Leviticus, they're probably going to explain to you what are the laws, the commandments, the statutes. And so he said, for a man and his father to go into the same girl, you were already told not to do that. So when you're doing that, you're defiling his holy name. Okay. Now it's explaining further, saying verse 8, they lie down by every altar on clothes taken in a pledge, and drink the wine of the condemned in the house of their God. Okay. Okay, so those were the complaints that he has against Israel. So if you guys are amongst Israel and you're aware that either your ancestors did this or you guys did this, you should repent. But the Creator is complaining a little bit more. Okay, he's explaining. He's like, why are you doing this against me? Look what I did for you. So now he has a list of what he did for you. He said in verse 9, yet it was I who destroyed the Amorite before you, Israel, whose height was like the height of cedars. So he's saying that he destroyed the Amorite before you, and they were giants. Okay, and he was as strong as the oak. So he said, because he had mercy on you, because he loved you and cared for you, he was protecting you. But yet you were teaching the people to go astray, and he's upset. He said, let me see, verse 10. He said, also it was I who brought you up from the land of Egypt and led you 40 years through the wilderness to possess the land of the Amorite. Okay? He said, I raised up some of your sons as prophets and some of your young men as Nazarites. Is it not so, O you children of Israel, says the Adonai? But you gave the Nazarites wine to drink, which they were not allowed, and commanded the prophets, saying, do not prophesy. So he's asking, why, after I'm caring about you as a people, why Israel is his special treasure, why does he love you so much and care about you so much, but yet you're teaching people to go astray, and it makes him sad? He's saying, he said, behold, I am weighed down by you, as a cart is weighed down that is full of sheaves. Therefore, so basically, so I'm not going to be kind of negative, but he's saying, because you're doing this evil against me when you know I care about you, I'm going to take away your strength because I was protecting you, because I was leading you. So he's probably humbling you. So you can read the rest of that chapter, chapter 2 of the book of Amos, to figure out what is it that he is thinking in regard to you betraying him in this way and treating his people as if they're worthless, as if they're objects, because he doesn't want you to treat his people like that. You are his people. He doesn't want to treat you like that, okay? He doesn't want you to treat your other brethren in that same way, okay? So let me see if there's anything else that I'm going to say to you. Let me see something. Chapter 3, verse 7 and 8, okay, of the book of Amos. Surely the Adonai Erevat does nothing unless he reveals his secret to his servants, the prophets. A lion has roared. So I'm telling you what you guys are guilty of, so you guys will hear it. It says, a lion has roared, who will not fear? The Adonai Erevat has spoken, but who can prophesy? Okay? So I'm just explaining to you guys what the Creator is upset with you about. It's your job to repent, not only for yourselves, but for your ancestors, okay? I hope that this was helpful to you to understand where you stand with the Creator, depending on your nation. And if you like the video, feel free to like, subscribe, share, or comment, okay? Thank you for listening. Take care. Bye-bye.